Guys, welcome to another episode of Grease Garage. We finally figured out, well, I think I have figured out what is happening with the Evo. It was running 28 PSI of boost, and instead of explaining why that was happening, it's better off to just show you. Now that the car's up, you can see just up here, there is a wastegate. It's a bit hard to see, but you can probably see it right there. So there is the wastegate, and this is the problem. Let me put some air to this, and you're gonna see exactly what happens. It's not meant to be making that noise. This wastegate is completely stuffed. Now, for you guys that don't know what an actuator is, it's like the most important part of your turbo. This is what actually controls boost. So we got a little turbo here, and on the side of it, we got a wastegate actuator. And that's connected to the wastegate at the rear right here. So how this is gonna work is as the engine is running, it's spinning the rear housing, which is spinning the turbine on the front. They're connected together by a shaft. This is the reference boost line, and as that gets pressure, this opens up the wastegate actuator, opening up a port at the back of the exhaust, and it's bypassing that rear turbine, making this turbo less efficient, which is how it controls the boost. And what we're replacing it with is one of these from TurboSmart. This is highly recommended. It comes with 3 springs in it, and we need to get this actually set to 14 PSI, but I believe with the 3 springs in it, it is 20 PSI. So we need to take off a bit of intercooler piping, and we need to get in there. But while I'm doing it, like I said, I'm gonna give this a service, put some fresh oil in it, and get it ready for the dyno. So a bit of work, but I reckon we can knock it off in a day. But wait, ain't I forgetting something?
Right.
What's something?
Raw.
Oh no! The exhaust fell off! That's right. While the car's up, let's get this exhaust back on and fixed up. So here we go. We are underneath the Evo, and I am very, very happy to say that it doesn't look like we've actually done any damage to the underside of the car. But the exhaust didn't go so well. As you can see, Liam.
We have it there.
Oh, look at that, mate. So it's taken a big chunk out. As you can see, I've polished the exhaust because I wanted to see what condition the actual exhaust was in. Exhaust was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, good.
But the dump, very, very bad. As you can see, it is pitted, it was rusted, and this is stainless steel, but this is what wrap actually does, you know, it holds moisture. So we have already pre-coated it, but we're gonna spray paint it in some ceramic coating as well, and then we're gonna wrap it. Well, lucky for me, this thing is not going to fit in my wife's oven, which is good because that means I'm not going to get a 9-month surprise. And like they say, don't be a fool, cover your tool. That is what we're doing with this dump pipe. We're putting ceramic coating all around it so we can protect all the engine bay components from that heat. But of course, we don't want to take any chances with this, so we are also putting around some wrap. Heat wrap is that next level protection that this car is going to need because we want to contain the heat out of that engine bay. Now we want this a little bit wet because that's going to help us pull that nice and tight and get it so there's nothing able to get inside it and wreck it. Also, this is going to help with the thermo containment. Next thing is we're going to use some stainless steel zip ties to finish this off. Now, if you're wondering about the exhaust, yeah, we fixed it up too. Like some Mary Poppins chimney sweeping bros, we got in there and we cleaned it out. We've put that back on. As you see, everything's nice and polished, and then we ugga-duggered it to the moon. So I was talking to the tuner, and they said we need to get the speedo working. So I've jerry-rigged this up with some wiring, and me and Liam have taken it for a ride, and it is working. So what we're going to do now is make that permanent. The next thing we're going to do is fix the blow valve because for some reason it's not working anymore, and I'm pretty sure it's jammed. So we're going to pull that apart and see if we can get it working. Now I have been enjoying that noises, but unfortunately the blow valve is there for a reason, so we have to get it working. And like it did today, we need to strip this thing down to the bare essentials so we can clean it up and get it working again. Anyway, as you can see, this thing is jammed. There's no way I'm going to be able to do this by hand, and I don't particularly want to do it by hand. So we are going to try and clean this and get it moving, but this explains why it wasn't working. So this is the problem, guys. We got two metals that don't like each other. An aluminium blow-off valve, and we got a brass piston inside it. So what do? We can force these apart, but then you're going to scratch the insides of the blow-off valve. We don't want to go there, so what I've decided to do was clean everything out, put some lubricant in there, and then use heat. This way, the aluminium should expand quicker than the brass, and we'll be able to push them apart. Great in theory, let's see how we go. Alright.
Tap it out. Holy shit.
So as you can see, me and Liam are now working on our finger game. That's right, we're getting in there and we're polishing this hole up. As you can see, Liam's doing a really good job of the brass bit, and I'm fixing up the aluminium bit. Now, the whole idea of this is not to make these holes bigger, it's just to smooth them out so they slide against each other a little bit better. But yeah, for sure, it was definitely the brass reacting with the aluminium. It's probably because it's been sitting for so long. Oh, look at that go, mate. Now, to be serious for a second, to help stop that reaction, I'm also going to be using some grease. We're going to grease the blower valve and that piston and anything else that's metal, and we're going to put it all back together so we have many years of trouble-free use. So now that that's fixed, we're moving over to this. This is the mass flow air sensor, and it is extremely dirty, full of muck. So we're going to get some of this stuff and clean it out. Okay, mass airflow meters in 10 seconds. Pretty much there's a heating element inside that has to stay at a constant temperature. When air goes past this element, it cools down, and the ECU in the car reads that, and it determines how much air is actually flowing past the element. Therefore, it can work out how much fuel needs to go with that much air. Now, of course, what stuffs this up is oil and dirt. And as you can see, this thing is absolutely filthy. So cleaning this up is going to get it ready for the dyno, and the car is going to read a lot better. Okay, now that we've got the blow-off valve working and the math done, now it's over to the wiring. So we're going to get all this stuff tied into the factory system. So that's what we're going to do right now. I know that you know that I know that no one wants to watch anything to do with wiring. So let's cut to the chase. The auto ECU is a 130 pin ECU. The one pin that you need to find on this is number 80. You'll find it's a black wire with a yellow line. This is where you want to connect the speed sensor up to. Now, there might be a downside to this, I don't know yet. I'm not sure if the ECU is actually picking up on the signal, but I'm happy to report that your speedo will work with this. So while I'm in this area, fixing up all the wastegate stuff, I might as well change my O2 sensor, because I think that is an issue. That's a code that keeps coming up as well. So we're going to change this over. The only problem is this is the wrong one. And that just sets the scene, because this was an absolute animal of a job. We had to get the flame thrower out, heat that sucker up, we had to put oil on it, use a bunch of different spanners on top of spanners to get the O2 sensor actually out of there. Now, the reason why this one is the wrong one is because it is for a Pajero. But I will say it does come very close to fitting in. The correct one is on its way though, but we don't have time to wait for it. Well, as you can see, we're back at the bench because I had to modify the wastegate bracket. This is now the original bracket that I've chopped up and made it fit with the actual aftermarket actuator. If it has a curve in it like that, that makes this for EVO 9s, okay? For EVO 7s, 8s, I think it was 6 as well, might be wrong about that. It's a nice flat surface, and that will actually fit on the GTAs. Now, this is just the standard bracket that I've drilled out, but I've had a look on the Turbo Smart website, and you can definitely see the difference when you actually are looking. Now, as you can see, there is not a lot of room to get these things out, so you better make sure that when you put it in, everything's done. So we are going to do the springs. Now, as you can see here right in front of us, we have 3 different springs, and they all have different spring ratings. But hey, I've got you guys. Now, if you have a look up here in the corner, you can see what the spring ratings are. And what you got to do is you just got to put them together to make whatever boost you want. Now, if you don't like your fingers, don't use a clamp. It will be fine, mate. Just send it. For me, I'm using a clamp because that's an aluminium thread and it's super easy to cross thread. So using that clamp just gives me a little bit of extra time to get this threaded back on, and then I can tighten it up with the key. Once that's done, I can now put this on the car. While I'm under here, it's pretty important before you go to the dyno that your oil is changed. You want to make sure that everything is okay. So Let me just do that. Holy crap! We're gonna put this on. That's some bloody Jesus. There is no need to do your oil filter that tight. Holy crap! Oh. Now, if you don't believe me, it was tight. Look at the dents in it. Oh yeah, let's have a look. Ooh. Oh, she's black. Now, for reference, guys, you don't need to do that to your oil filter. If you actually look on most oil filters, it will tell you to tighten it up once you have lubed the top of it, and then turn it another 3/4 to get it tight. And that's it. There is no need to swing off your wrench or whatever you're doing to get it that tight. That's insane. Anyway, we're going to slap in some nice new oil, and then it's on to the next thing. All right, so we're knocking through the list, but there's something very important I have to do still, and that is the injectors. Now, I'm going to reuse the injectors that are in here, but I want to clean them because once you tune the car with whatever injectors are in it, that tune is for those injectors. If I clean these injectors and they end up flowing better, then unfortunately it's going to knock the tune out, which I don't want to do. So let's clean them up. Very cool process. And the next thing we'll do after that is just do a general cleanup and then take this for a test drive. All right, so let's go over to the bench and test these injectors. Now these are doing really, really well and they're flowing a good amount. I like to say that they're also flowing really close to each other, but I'm still going to put them in the cleaner because you just never know by looking at them. And as you can see, that was a good idea because these things came out very dirty. So even though those injectors were flowing okay, let's see how dirty that water actually was. Ooh. Now this is brand new liquid, as you can see behind me. This is what I use. Oh yeah. And I think I might give it another go. Let's have a look. Bit of a difference. So after that second clean, I then retested these injectors. So what I did was a leg down test, a flow test, and then I compared them all together to see how they were flowing. And these injectors definitely did pass because they're within 1.08% of each other. Right, so these injectors now back in. We've got the speed sensor and reverse sensor wiring all cleaned up a little bit. I haven't fully done that because I don't know if that's 100% correct. So I just left it there in case it needs to be pulled apart again. The 3-port Mac solenoid valve for the boost control. I've gone past that. I've just reconnected the turbo and the wastegate together. And that way we're just going to be working off that wastegate spring pressure, which was 17 PSI. Because we don't know how this Mac valve is set up, and this might boost its brains out because it's a different type of wastegate now. So it might, a wastegate actuator. So it might give a different boost pressure depending on how they've set up that boost control. So pretty much that's all done. The last thing I need to do is chuck in the battery tray. And then take this thing for a spin. So here we are, we're installing something so simple in this build that's marking the start of something bigger. The Forgotten Evo, a car that has travelled over 7,500 kilometres by boat to reach our shores of Australia. Used as a daily driver here, is now getting a new lease of life. Even though it's been a short time, I can really feel this car wants to be more. And I just hope I can do it justice. Oh yeah. All right, let's do this. Let's take this thing for a ride. Probably cool down a bit now. Oh, it's cooled right down. All right, that's all right. Very nice. All right. So fortunately, I don't have any camera stands with me, so I'm trying to drive and do this. So a bit of left-hand shifting. Yeah. Yeah, it goes a lot better. Is it pinning me back in my seat like it was before? No, but remember this is only on 17 to 18 PSI at the moment. But stoked. So next time you see us guys, we will be on the dyno and we will see how much this GDA with the small turbo with a manual can actually make. I am actually pumping. I cannot wait to see what it pulls, but please I want to hear your comments below. Tell me what you reckon this is going to get on the dyno. And if you get the right answer, we'll give you a free EVO shirt. How's that sound? All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll give you one more pull. Let's have a look. Hold on, I'm just going around the corner. Trying to change gears. Oh, what am I in? I'm in third. Nah, that's boring. Let's, almost crashed. All right, here we go. Catch you guys on the next episode. Bye.